Good morning, fellow Rotarians, spouses, and guests, and welcome to the first RI District 3800 online DISTAS. My name is Past President Boyet Sacro from the Rotary Club of Marikina West, and I will be your MC for this year's DISTAS. My friends, presenting to you our transforming presidents and spouses. Transforming presidents and spouses from Zone 1. And spouses from Zone 3. Transforming presidents and spouses, Zone 4A. Transforming presidents and spouses from Zone 4B. Maraming salamat po sa ating transforming presidents at spouses. Muli po, magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Ngayong umaga po, ang inyong lingkod ay gagamit ng wikang Ingles at wikang pambansa upang pagbibigay pugay sa Rotary Club ng ating mahal na DGE, ang Rotary Club ng Marikina North o Hilaga Marikina, na siya pong nanguna sa pagtaguyod at paggamit ng wikang pambansa sa kanilang mga pagpupulong. Maraming salamat po. At this point, my friends, please allow me to call our champion District Governor Nelson M. Aspe to formally open DISTAS 2020.
Good morning, everyone. By the authority vested in me as District Governor of District 3800, this first ever virtual district training assembly is now called to order.
Mangyari po lamang na tayo ay tumayo para sa invocation, Philippine National Anthem at Rotary Hymn.
At nang magbuhos ng ulan, simoy ng dapit hapon, sinag ng buwan.
Batis na malinaw, dagat na bughaw, kayo ng Panginoon, kung Jesus ang aking buhay.
Man ako umaling, ika'y naroon.
Tumalikod man sa'yo, dakilang pag-ibig mo sa akin, tatawag at magpapaalala. Ako iyong ginigiliw at siyang itatapat sa puso. Tinig ng kaibigan, uyain ng ina, pangarap ng ulila, bisig ng tungha, ilaw ng may takot, ginhawa ng Ama. Kayo ng
Panginoon, kung Jesus ng aking buhay. Saan man ako umaling, ika'y naroon.
Tumalikod man sa'yo, dakilang pag-ibig mo sa akin, tatawag at magpapaalala. Ako'y iyong ginigiliw at siyang itatapat sa puso. iyong ginigiliw at siyang itatapat sa puso. At siyang itatapat sa puso. Kayang magiliw para sa silanganan, alab ng puso sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, gayan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka masisingil. Sa dagat ang bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may dinagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nalililig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw na nalat at pagsinta mo ay langit sa piling mo. Ang ligaya na pag may mga api ang mamatay na dahil sa'yo.
I want to be a Rotarian for the world. Make the Rotary flag as the flag of peace unfurled. I shall serve my community, help achieve universal unity. Rotary, I shall dedicate my all. World understanding shall be my cherished goal. With a four-way test, I'll pursue my quest. If in my little way help attain peace in the world, I shall not have lived in vain. Service above self, lend a hand to all who need my help. I'll give my spouse to involve in Rotary, and in Rotary ways I will train my family. With a four-way test we'll pursue our quest. If in our little way help attain peace in the world, we shall not have lived in vain. Build a bridge for tomorrow's youth, strengthened by nothing but the truth. Let's join our hands, there's no reason we'll divide. We shall all understand why the good Lord is our guide. With a four-way test we'll pursue our quest. If in our little way of the day peace in the world, we shall not have lived in vain. Peace be achieved, we shall not have lived in vain.
introduce our dignitaries, delegates, and guests, please welcome my good friend, incoming District Secretary, Maria Rita Carla R. De Jerez.
Good morning, everyone. Allow me to introduce our distinguished guests, delegates, and guests. Start off, we have with us District Governor Nelson M. Aspe and spouse Mila. District Governor nominee Anthony Tonipi and Paruñgao and spouse Lana. Rotary International Director Rafael Rafi and Garcia III and spouse Linda. Our guest speaker, Mr. Francis J. Kong, who will be appropriately introduced later. Past District Governor and incoming District Trainer, Jose Pepe F. Peralta and spouse Fessy. We're also joined by our incoming District Legal Counsel, past President Jose Vicente Van Jimenez. Now, in the interest of time, I will call our delegates by zone. So just raise your hands and make us feel that you are there. Your zone is very, very present in this first online district training assembly. Start off, may call on the current and incoming district officers, presidents, presidents-elect, Rotarians, and spouses, partners of Zone 1. Thank you. Now we have the current and incoming district officers, presidents, presidents-elect, Rotarians, spouses, partners of Zone 2. Let us welcome the current and incoming district officers, presidents, presidents-elect, Rotarians and spouses, partners of Zone 3. Then we go to the current and incoming district officers, presidents, presidents-elect, Rotarians, and spouses, partners of Zone 4A. And let's go to the current and incoming district officers, presidents, presidents-elect, Rotarians, and spouses, partners of Zone 4B. Let us welcome the current and incoming district officers, presidents, presidents-elect, Rotarians, and spouses, partners of Zone 5A. We have the current and incoming district officers, presidents, presidents-elect, Rotarians, and spouses, partners of Zone 5B. With us are the current and incoming district officers, presidents, presidents-elect, Rotarians, and spouses, partners of Zone 6. Then let's go to the current and incoming district officers, presidents, presidents-elect, Rotarians, and spouses, partners of Zone 7. Last but not the least, current and incoming district officers, presidents, presidents-elect, Rotarians, and spouses, partners of Zone 8. With us right now are not only the Rotarians and spouses, we also have the presence of our dear Rotaractors. So may I welcome incoming District Rotaract Representative Ali Francisco, together with the Rotaractors of District 3800. This event will not be possible without the efforts, the hard work of our host club. So they deserve this. Let us give a warm round of applause to the Rotarians and spouses and all those in the team of the District Training Assembly 2020 Host Club, the Rotary Club of Marikina West, led by DISTAS 2020 Chair, past President Ronald Pope O'Solis, and the beautiful spouse, Vicky. Let's give all of them a warm round of applause. Thank you, and have a pleasant day ahead.
Thank you, incoming District Secretary Maria Rita Carla de Jerez. For the welcome remarks, it is my pleasure to introduce one of our past district governors. My friends, please welcome past District Governor Jose Pepe F. Peralta.
Rotary International President-elect Holger Kanak, Rotary International Director Rafael Garcia III, Champion Governor Nelson Aspe, District Governor-elect Tonipi Paruñgao, past District Governors, DISTAS Chairman, past President Ronald Solis, future District Governors, incoming District and Club Officers, Rotarians and guests, good morning. In the midst of this global situation and crisis, most communities, enterprises, and organizations are adopting a new normal. The Rotary International and our district have worked tirelessly to shift as many trainings and activities as possible to virtual or online model. Our beloved organization is transforming quickly to ensure the safety of the Rotarians, but still continue keeping the Rotary clubs going and their members engaging. Our district leaders are helping Rotary clubs find creative and effective ways to continue doing their service and fellowship activities under the new situation. Today, 6/20/2020, or June 20, 2020, will be remembered in the history of District 3800 as DISTAS. DISTAS means Distance District Training Assembly. This first virtual district training assembly of District 3800 proves that we continue, empower, and transform our district and club leaders through a different training platform and environment. Knowledge and information sharing will keep us together even virtually. We can increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance members' engagement, and increase our ability to adapt and develop greater resilience even in times of difficulties. No crisis or pandemic can stop Rotarians to unite and take action to create a lasting change across the globe, in our communities, in ourselves. We would like to welcome all of you in this first virtual district training assembly hosted by the Rotary Club of Marikina West. Let us all listen well and learn. We are confident that Rotarians of District 3800 are up to the challenge of opening opportunities because together we work as one, and together we transform as one. Mabuhay ang District 3800, mabuhay ang Rotary.
To give us an overview of the online DISTAS, please welcome our DISTAS chairman, my Regal Eagle president from the Rotary Club of Marikina West, past President Ronald Olivar Pope Solis.
Dear Governor Nelson Aspe, Rotary International Director Rafi Garcia, District Governor-elect Tonipi Paruñgao, past and future district governors, district officers, transforming presidents, my fellow Rotarians, guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of us. We're not supposed to be here. Last April 25, we were supposed to be gathered in Manila Hotel, rolled up our sleeves for one whole day in a planned plenary and breakout sessions. And then at night, we ought to have a grand party. That would have been easy. We have been there and we have done that. But this pandemic has turned our world upside down. Even if we summon all our creative juices to be able to bring to you an unforgettable DISTAS, the stakes have gotten higher because now we have to contend with a shift in paradigms. It might appear commonplace nowadays for us to participate in online meetings and conferences, webinars, or whatchamacallit. But oftentimes, the digital experience turns disastrous simply because of the happening of a technical glitch. Let's be honest with ourselves and accept the reality that the technology that now allows us to have this virtual meeting requires a longer learning curve. So nice to daydream of holding a DISTAS via the internet in the same length and breadth as we knew it in the pre-COVID-19 world. But unless and until we have honed our skills and mastered the technology of internet applications, we are wont to helplessly bury ourselves in a horrifying quicksand. So we decided to simplify things. Before the pandemic, we promised to bring to you a rock star, a most sought after inspirational speaker whom we are all eager to listen to and get some learned insights. Although he would speak through a remote setting, that rock star, Mr. Francis J. Kong, will still be with us this morning and relate to us about an apt and timely topic on transformational leadership and collaboration. Part of the process of simplification that is meant to avoid getting bogged down in unwanted technical glitches is to do away with the breakout sessions as we traditionally know them to be. Instead, as we previously announced in various social media sites of the district, our club leaders will be required to join some e-learning modules in My Rotary, and your participation in these modules will be credited to your attendance in today's DISTAS. We will continue to post announcements in social media to help guide you with the instructions. As I speak, there are a total number of 1,262 Rotarians, Rotaractors, prospective Rotarians, and kindred souls who have registered in this Zoom webinar. We are also live streaming on Facebook on the RC Marikina West Facebook page. This event is also being recorded and it will be uploaded in the cloud where you may download later on your own copy. I would like to believe that all of us are joining this morning to listen and learn and broaden our Rotary experience. And before I end, I would like to give credit to all the hardworking members and lovely spouses of the Rotary Club of Marikina West, also known as the Golden West, but more popularly known as the Wild Wild West, your host for this event, for all the sweat and toil to make this online DISTAS 2020 a proud accomplishment. Likewise, I would like to give credit to that very special lady. May we please pan the camera and put her on screen? My lovely wife, Vicky, my secret weapon, who made all of this possible. My dear fellow Rotarians, sit back, relax, enjoy, and learn immensely from this historic first ever online district training assembly 2020 of RI District 3800. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat din, Mr. Chair. My Regal Eagle President, Past President Pope Solis. Ngayon naman po, pahintulutan niyo akong tawagin para sa kaniyang mensahe ang ating magiting na champion district governor. Mga kaibigan, ang District Governor Nelson M. Aspe.
RI Director Rafi Garcia and spouse Minda, District Governor-elect Tonipi Paruñgao and spouse Lana, IPDG Mariloko and past District Governor Tony Co, past District Governors and their lovely spouses, District Governor nominee OG Soliman and spouse Tess, District Governor nominee designate Bobby Tanyag, ladies and gentlemen, friends of Rotary, good morning. Rotary International President Mark Daniel Maloney once said that the presidents are among the most important people in Rotary. This goes without saying that the next most important ones are the other club officers as well as the Rotarian. But president or not, everyone has to undergo a lot of activities in Rotary. The leadership training for a very challenging yet rewarding task culminates upon the holding of the District Training Assembly. It is where the results of planning and policy formulation are shared to the Rotary clubs. As we say it, we planned so long and trained so hard for strong leadership. Congratulations to the incoming District 3800 officers led by Governor Anthony Tonipi Paruñgao and spouse Lana, who actually planned and trained in a series of events in most the same way, if not better and detailed as other district and club leaders underwent in the past. This time, however, there is a bigger challenge to engage in and connect with under a different platform which we now call the new normal. Whatever scenario the world might be into next Rotary Year or even beyond, Rotary's basics will remain the same. While travels and social events are affected by realities, modern technology has actually and effectively addressed the issue on communication and doing service. Growing Rotary and doing good in the world will continue while we are in the midst of creating lasting change in our community and in our lives. Service above self is still very much on. At this point in time, please allow me to narrate one basic observation. If the number of registrants in this first virtual district assembly is an indicator of the size of membership, then Rotary Year 2020-2021 will be a banner year for District 3800. Before I formally yield the proceedings, may I simply tell you a simple gesture of goodness and sharing manifested by your transforming team. Last April, District 3800 is among the first to receive a district disaster response grant of US $25,000 for COVID-19 mitigation. The champion team wanted to match this 1:1 in order to acquire a bigger volume of masks and alcohols for frontliners and for those who need similar protection. The District Calamity Fund, which includes a carryover from the year 2018-2019, the voluntary contribution from a number of clubs, those of the EXICOM members and some past district governors, were not just enough. But after just a day of waiting, the transforming team came to the rescue. They chipped in their calamity fund for the year 2020-2021. This is proof that the transforming team did not just plan, but rather they performed in advance. To Governor Tonipi and the transforming team, please be assured that as you lead District 3800 under the theme Rotary Opens Opportunities, the champions of service will not be far behind in assisting you to create an impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement. Good luck, more power, and may we all have the best of times. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Maraming salamat po, District Governor Nelson Aspe. At this point, my friends, allow me to call back District Governor Nelson and District Governor-elect Anthony Tonipi Paruñgao for the formal turnover of the proceedings.
Thank you very much. And again, good morning. At this point in time, it is now my duty to turn over the rest of the proceedings to one of the most famous leaders of the district, now and in the year to come. District Governor-elect and soon to be incoming District Governor Anthony Tonipi Paruñgao. The floor is now yours, Panyero. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Gov. Nelson, for turning over the proceedings to yours truly. Your presence here is much appreciated, and advanced happy birthday to you. Good morning.
Happy birthday. For his inspirational message, it is my honor to introduce our Rotary International Director, PDG Rafael M. Garcia III.
Rare individuals make an impact on others. For them, the true measure of one's worth is evidenced by the lives touched by their own success. Rafi, or RMG3 as he is fondly called, is widely known as a successful businessman and information technology or IT specialist. As an IT professional, Rafi has served as chairman and CEO of the mega group of computer companies, a conglomerate of 44 companies. Rafi has been recognized by several award-giving bodies. Rafi's generosity is legendary. Even until today, he is a generous giver to his university classmates, like he does to other individuals and communities. He joined Rotary Club of Pasig in 1971. In 2006, he agreed to be the club president. In 2011-2012, he was elected as District Governor of District 3800. From there on, there was no stopping Rafi's rise to the totem pole of Rotary International's leadership. Today, until 2020, he is the 9th Rotary International Director who is a Filipino, and is in fact inspired in many ways by the first ever Filipino RI President, Mat Caparas.
remember so well the day that
Rafi has always believed that family comes first and has proven that a man can stay on top without leaving his family behind. Rafi is happily married to Minda Acacio Garcia, who was a former club president of the founding Manila chapter of Soroptimists International. The joyous couple has 4 children and 8 grandchildren. The Garcia family is Arc Clump Society, AKS, Rotarians led by RID Rafi and spouse Minda, Foundation Circle, AG Rafael Rami Garcia IV and spouse D. Joanna, Trustee Circle, and RC Pasig President Nick Guzman and spouse Susan Nana Garcia Guzman, Trustee Circle. Today, what defines Rafi most is making the most out of his moments with family and Rotary. Other than the RI President, Rafi holds the distinction of being the most traveled RI Director, always out to spread the good news about Rotary. For Rafi, one can only feel true fulfillment when we help make other lives better through Rotary. May all of us Rotarians be inspired to stay high on life, love, and service to create a wonderful world around us. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the renowned high-technology entrepreneur, outstanding Rotarian, past District Governor of Rotary District 3800, and our MARI convener, RI Director Rafael Rafi M. Garcia III.
world. Whoa, yeah. Can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yes, Director. We can hear you.
District Governor Nelson Aspe and spouse Mila. District Governor-elect Tonipi Paruñgao and spouse Lana. District Governor nominee Orji Soliman and spouse Tess. District Governor nominee designate Orji Soliman, Bobby Peñag, sorry. Immediate past District Governor Marilu Co and past District Governor Tony Co. Past District Governor Pepe Peralta and spouse Tessie. Members of the Council of Governors of District 3800. Members of the host club of Marikina West. Visiting Rotary dignitaries from other districts, distinguished Rotarians and guests, good morning. Let me first congratulate the champion team of Champion Governor Nelson Aspe, because from the information that I have received, District 3800 had a banner year in TRF and membership growth this year. District 3800 is #1 among all the Philippine, Australian, and New Zealand districts in annual giving, Polio Plus, and per capita giving. And if you give some more up to June 30, 2020, you may set a record of $1 million plus in total giving. Ang galing-galing talaga. Congratulations. From the last report of Rotary Coordinator, past District Governor Eva Cunyaty, District 3800 grew by 328 Rotarians and 3 new clubs. Our retention rates were outstanding with 96% for new members and 91% for existing members. 32% of our members are women compared to 24% worldwide. Congratulations for a great job, champion team. I'm so proud to be a Rotarian from District 3800. For my inspirational message this morning, let me talk about 2 of the most misunderstood concepts in life, talent and skill. Do you know the difference between talent and skill? Very few people truly understand the difference between the two. In fact, some people think that talent is equivalent to skill. Some of us are naturally talented, but to turn your talent into a skill requires hours and hours and hours of practice, hard work, and working on your craft. You may be talented, but unless you spend time to develop it, that's all it will be, an undeveloped talent. Take singing. Filipinos are naturally musically inclined. When I was studying in the US, I used to brag that most Filipinos were born with a guitar in their hands. Many of us know how to carry a tune, yung hindi disintonado. But how many can actually go up on a stage and sing into a microphone? That takes lakas ng loob. You have to get rid of the butterflies in your stomach before you can do it. For the last few years,
Meron
I've been
siguro.
going to piano bars where I sing along with other friends. We are called jammers. We can carry our tune and don't have butterflies in our stomachs anymore, but we will never be good enough to be professionals because we don't depend on it for our living. And because we don't practice enough to get better. But that's not the case with Ramon Jacinto, who was my classmate in Ateneo High School. Like many of us at that time, we played in combos imitating the Ventures or the Shadows on Tisco Japanese electric guitars. Ramon was the same. He loved music and he loved to play the guitar. But his advantage was his father was rich. So he didn't have to be a musician to earn a living. His father could afford to buy him the best electric guitars like Gretsch and Fender and Gibson, and he always had the best. Those of us who were not so lucky had to be content with cheaper Tisco guitars. But having the best instruments will not guarantee that you will sound good or be able to play well. You have to practice and practice and practice until doing the difficult stuff becomes second nature. Now Ramon, or RJ as some like to call him, is also called Mr. Rock and Roll. How did he get as good as he is now? First of all, he got the best and most expensive instruments. Then he went and got lessons from the best. He got to know Don Wilson and Jerry McGee of the original Ventures, and he got lessons from Noki Edwards, their lead guitarist. So when you have the best instruments, get lessons from the best on how to do things that ordinary guitarists don't know how to do. And then you practice and practice and practice. You become Mr. Ramon Jacinto, Mr. Rock and Roll. For people who are trying to excel, they never mistake talent for skill, nor skill for talent. Have you ever watched people on the flying trapeze? Do you think they could do what they do because they are just talented? I don't think so. They can fly and not fall to the ground because they practice this over and over. They learn how to actually take off so that they can catch the swing as it came around towards them as they flew in the air. If they took off too early or too late, there won't be a swing to catch them. To learn and know when to do this takes hours and hours of practice. They had to practice over and over and over, even falling into the net over and over. I've never really viewed myself as particularly talented. However, where I excel is ridiculous, sickening work ethic. You know, while other people are sleeping, I'm working. While other guys are eating, I'm working. While the other guys are having fun, I'm still working. Friends are often surprised when they receive a text or a message from me at some unholy hour. Some of them notice that I go on the internet when others are already asleep. That's because that's when I do my best work. And I can work so much better when I don't have to compete with others for internet speed and time. I realized when I was still very, very young that there is no easy way around it. The only thing that is different about me is that I am not afraid to die on a treadmill. You might have more talent than me. You might be smarter than me. You might be sexier than me. You might be all of the things that would make you better in all categories. But if we get on a treadmill together, there's only one of two things that's going to happen. Either you're getting off first or I'm going to die. It's really that simple. You're not going to outwork me. It's a very simple concept. No matter how talented you are, your talent is going to fail if you're not skilled. And if you're skilled, your talent will rarely fail you. This is what I've taught my children and what I have made sure they passed on to my grandchildren. Take my grandson, Manu Guzman. He was a baseball player for the Ateneo from the time he entered grade school. Then his baseball coaches noticed that year in and year out, he would win the most stolen bases award. So when he was a sophomore in high school, one of them suggested for him to try out for track, particularly the 100 and 200 meter sprints. I was interested because I had also excelled in these events when I was in high school many moons ago. And sure enough, for 3 years straight, he ruled the 100 and 200 meter races in the UAAP. He also won gold for 2 years straight in long jump after winning silver the first year he got it. He was scouted by various coaches in the United States and was offered full scholarships by several universities. He decided to go to Fordham because it was also a Jesuit university like the Ateneo. Fordham is where he now practices his skills over and over and over. He found a talent that he developed into a skill by practicing over and over. He is the fastest sprinter in Fordham, and he is also the holder of the Philippine record in 60 meters. He was hoping to qualify for the Philippine track and field team to the Tokyo Olympics in 100 and 200. Unfortunately, his sprint coach in Fordham had a misunderstanding with their head coach and was fired. And so for the last 2 years, Manu has been competing with no coach. You can rely on your talent up to a point. After that, you need someone to show you what to do to improve yourself as you practice over and over. He has consistently won for Fordham every time they ran against another school. But with no coach to tell him what he has to do better, his times have not improved enough to qualify for the Olympics. If you don't study and read your assignments, your brain will not know what to do with the knowledge that it absorbs. If you don't work really hard and dedicate yourself to being better every day, you'll never be able to communicate with people with the artistry the way you want. If you're musically inclined, practice on your instrument over and over, whether it's a guitar, a piano, a saxophone, or even a flute. If you're a trapeze artist, practice your timing over and over so that you can do even more complicated routines. If you're a singer, protect your vocal cords and stretch them regularly so that you can reach higher and higher as well as lower and lower notes. Practice over and over until you learn how to sing from your diaphragm and not from your throat. Even knives get dull when you don't keep sharpening them over and over again. Practice your craft until it becomes a skill. If you don't sharpen your talent to remove the burrs and the spurs, and make your movements more efficient, you cannot improve your skills. But if you don't believe me, we can settle it the best way I know how. I challenge you to run with me at the treadmill. But be prepared to get off first or die, because I'm not getting off before you. Thank you very much and good morning.
Maraming salamat po, RI Director Rafael Rafi M. Garcia III. Ngayon po mga kaibigan, mapalad tayo at papapakinggan natin ang mensahe mula sa Rotary International President-elect. Mga kaibigan at kapwa Rotaryo, pakinggan po natin ang RIPE Holger Knack.
Dear friends in Rotary, we all love Rotary, and all of us have taken on great responsibility. This is our opportunity to strengthen our network, not for our personal glory, but for the good of Rotary. We believe that our acts of service, big or small, create opportunity for the people who need our help. And we also know that every act of service will inspire and change us. Rotary is not just a club that you join. It is an invitation to endless opportunities. Rotary opens opportunities for the people we serve and for ourselves. I've asked the district governors to deliver 4 messages to clubs. This is briefly: first, we want to grow by new, different, innovative club models that meet the needs of young professionals and Rotaractors. And I'm asking you to support those new clubs in your area and think about creating your innovative satellite club. Second, please host at least one strategic meeting a year and asking where your club wants to be in 5 years and what value it brings to your members. Third, I wish your club to grow, but please select your members carefully and make sure that they are a good fit to your club and that your club meets their expectations. And please take care of them. And by the way, there is no wrong age to become a Rotarian. Fourth, even though everything right now is about the coronavirus, please continue your club efforts to end polio by donating to End Polio Now. We must fulfill our promise we made to the children of this world. And based on our strategic plan, together, we will grow Rotary. Now, the coronavirus has changed the world, and we cannot longer meet in person as usual. And we don't know how long this will continue. But that's the only real change. Everything else remains. We now come together virtually, like today. We can see each other. We can discuss together, listen to a speaker, and plan new projects. And we share the Rotary values, and we all share our 4-way test. And even in times of crisis, and especially now, Rotaries open opportunities for us and for the people who need our help. With our commitment to service above self, we will be able to overcome one of the greatest humanitarian challenges. Of course, everyone wants us to get back to normal. But in Rotary, this is the time for change. This is the time to be revolutionary. Let's take the opportunity now to make Rotary ready for the future. I'm asking you, please, put everything on test. Frequency and manner of your meetings, your location, day, time, procedures, your events, selection of new members, fundraising projects, your projects, simply everything. Your club can become more attractive, flexible, and effective. Don't waste the opportunity. I would like to thank you for your commitment to our great organization. Everything we do opens another opportunity for someone, somewhere. Thank you very much, and stay healthy.
Thank you to our RIPE. And now to introduce our district governor-elect, please welcome one of our incoming district secretaries, IDS Benjamin Benji K. Liboro.
Good morning. It is my great honor to introduce to you the incoming District Governor, Anthony Tonipi Nunag Paruñgao. After which, we will show you a video that will highlight the significant milestones of his private, public, professional, and Rotary lives. I first met Tonipi during the 1999 PETS as we prepared to take over the presidency of our club under Governor Jose Pepe Peralta. We were all young, but Tonipi was one of the youngest in our group. I imagine he was expected to shine during our PETS because the host club was his club, and his club elders are very demanding. But I remember being so impressed by how ready Tonipi seemed for the role of president of his club. That was actually when I decided I had better take the presidency of my club more seriously. 2 years later, we were again together in the district nominating committee under Governor Teddy Zamora at a time when competition for the governorship was quite contentious. Tonipi and I had to explain and defend the various modes of selecting the next governor in a special district workshop that we had to organize. Through the 20 years since 2000, Tonipi and I kept running into each other in the service of the district and of our clubs. He is very articulate in both English and Filipino, and he's a superb and convincing speaker, so much so that whenever my club invites potential Rotarians to join us, we ask Tonipi to be our speaker. Even as he served in government, he continued to quietly serve the district in various capacities. And his special advocacy was developing and launching the Concentrated Language Encounter, or CLE, literacy program in our and other Rotary districts. As Undersecretary of Agrarian Reform, Tonipi was given the difficult task of implementing the redistribution of large parts of Hacienda Luisita at a time when one of the Coangco family members was the sitting president of the country. This he did impartially, professionally, successfully. Amazing. I remember one birthday dinner for PDG Tony Puyat. A small group of us presidents, 2000, were teasing Tonipi about running for district governor, I think at the instigation of Governor Pepe. Suddenly, Tonipi turned to me and asked, if I make myself available for district governor, papayag ka ba maging district secretary? I was so surprised, I said, of course, without even thinking. So here I am today to introduce to you our incoming district governor, Anthony Tonipi Paruñgao. Please give the following video presentation your undivided attention. Thank you.
Here are some videos of District Governor-elect Tonipi.
Thank you very much, classmate Benji, for that very personal and wonderful introduction. And many, many thanks to the creative impact team of past President Josh Santos, which came up with that extraordinary video that was shown just a while ago. I'd like to start off by, of course, greeting our champion governor, Nelson Aspe, and his spouse, Mila, for taking time off from their very, very toxic schedules to be with us this morning. Of course, to RI Director Rafi Garcia, whose energy levels, despite his advanced age, continues to totally astound. To Regional Rotary Foundation Chair, Governor June Farcon, our very, very hardworking TRF champion. To all the esteemed colleagues at the Council of Governors, many senior Rotary leaders who I look up to, admire and respect, and of course their lovely ladies. All the spouses present here today, the Rotaractors who have made their collective presence felt, my fellow Rotarians and friends, good morning. I'd like to make a special shout out to my classmates who also joined us this morning, Governor Dindo Berino of District 3770, Governor Chacha Camacho of District 3830, Governor Louis Gonzaga of District 3850, and last but not the least, Governor Riz Reyes of District 3860. Welcome to RI District 3800. Now, this is our new RI theme for the coming year. And what strikes me most about this is that it is simple, it is relatable, it is appropriate and meaningful in so many levels. To the people we help, it is literally an opportunity for a better life. For us Rotarians who serve, it is an opportunity to give back, to lend meaning to our existence. And of course, to Rotary in general and to Rotary clubs in particular, it is a clarion call, a challenge to change, to become bigger, to become better, so that we can help more people. And by the use of 3 multicolored knobless open doors Rotary is without doubt an organization now of open doors, and that all that it symbolizes, inclusivity, diversity, and transparency. But we should not lose sight of the fact that everything we do as Rotarians has an impact to someone. RI President Mark Maloney himself said during the International Assembly 5 months ago that the opportunities are the why of what we do. And RI President-elect Holger Knack himself underscored this when he said that anything we do opens an opportunity for someone, somewhere. But the underlying message of this RI theme is really the call for change. We have to take stock. We have to look at the big picture. We have to take the long view so that we can be bigger and better and help more people. In other words, we need to think outside the box. And in this particular case, the RI theme will obviously include listening to changes that will have to be made in the way we do things. Now, don't take my word for it. Don't take what I just said a while ago for it. We can just listen to the words of RI President Holger Knack himself. Please pay attention now to this video that will be shown right after this.
And if we are being completely honest with ourselves, and when we look ahead, do we think Rotary is doing enough to face the challenges of the future? Rotary has to change, and Rotary will change. And even if some fellow Rotarians will complain that it does not look like their old Rotary, we have to change. As Paul Harris said, we have to be revolutionary from time to time. And now is the time to be revolutionary.
Now, of course, when we talk of change, change is not to be taken just for the sake of doing change. We really have to find out why we're in this and take stock of the situation we find ourselves in. We'll have to look at the big picture, take the long view, and find out how we can help more people. And in this particular case, especially in view of what's happening right now, we have to think outside the box. And therefore, my friends, welcome to the Rotary Revolution. What strikes me most is that RI President-elect Holger Knack, in his International Assembly speech 5 months ago, said something that actually captures the essence of why we have to do strategic planning. He said, let's fix the roof while the sun is still shining. And mind you, this was said several months ago. There was still no pandemic at that time. And yet he had the foresight to tell us to think long-term, to prepare, to plan, to anticipate worst-case scenarios so that we can continue to do good and do well. And of course, in saying so, what he said during that time of the need for change assumes more significance and urgency today. Our RI President wants us to have a strategic planning meeting. He wants our Rotary clubs to be as relevant and responsive and resilient and effective. He wants engaged membership. He wants a membership that has the capability and the belief to do greater things. He wants Rotary to be able to adapt. And in doing so, we can actually make things even better. And therefore, I'm happy to say that many of the clubs right now are doing their strategic planning meetings. Some clubs are concluding theirs, others are about to undertake. And I'm looking forward to going over all of these strategic plans during the start of the official governor's visit season in earnest. And this particular thing will also tell us that, boy, by force of circumstance, we really have to go back to the basics. And because of what has happened, I implore and enjoin all Rotary clubs to do 3 basic things. First, Rotarians and Rotary clubs should rethink whatever they plan to do. The pandemic has taken place all of a sudden. It is akin to a curveball that has been thrown at us, but that should not make us suspend things or hold things in abeyance. It should just make us pause, reboot, or reinvent, reflect on what has happened, take a good, cold, objective view of what has transpired, of what we can and what we cannot do, taking into account that the primacy of the health and safety of our members are paramount, and that should be non-negotiable. And once we've done that, then we should come to a conclusion as to what we should do. We must then decide. And therefore, after doing the rethink among all the Rotary clubs, then we must resolve. We have to make sure that our decisions are based on facts. What should we do? We should have online meetings, we should have virtual meetings, we should continue to serve, we should continue to help people, we should continue to recruit and help the Rotary Foundation. And once we have made those resolutions, then we must act. And in acting, we therefore get to renew the essence of Rotary, renew our commitment to its cause, renew our belief in the mission of Rotary, in the ideal of service above self. Now, so after rethinking and resolving and renewing, these are the things that these are the fundamental things that have to be done in order for us to continue to serve, to make a difference, to exercise leadership that matters. And in all of these, you can be assured that the district will be there to help you every step of the way. And this help can come in many forms. To date, we have already come up with a club support committee, for instance, which will help the clubs in all facets, like strategic planning, in financial management and reporting, in conflict resolution, in program management, in interpretation of contentious provisions in basic documents, in many other things. This committee is akin to our club and district support office in Rotary International, just to underscore how important it is for the district to support the clubs. We have also come up with a menu of possible service projects. Our past president, Annette Esperas, and her committee has come up with that manual that has been furnished to all the clubs. We have created a special committee on online meetings. Around 30 days ago, around 30 plus clubs still had not conducted any virtual or online meetings. We felt the need to assist the clubs. And today, we're happy to report that only around 4 or 5 clubs have yet to do virtual or online meetings. So this is the new normal. We have to do everything. If you need forms, we will provide that. We've come up with a needs assessment forms. We've come up with a prescribed template for club plans and programs. In other words, we will do everything we can to support the clubs. That is the function of Rotary. That is the task of your district. Why? Because after everything is said and done, what we want to do is to serve. All we want to do is to continue to do good and to do it well. We will also try our best to lower the cost of being a Rotarian. And in this regard, I'd like to thank the Rotary Club of Marikina West for leading the way. This district assembly is free of charge. No assessment was imposed upon any single Rotarian. And we are actually mindful of the situation we find ourselves in, money being a sensitive issue, and that's what we will try to do for the rest of the year. And next, this is what we want to happen. We want Rotary to continue to do good. We want Rotary to do it well. It's not enough that we have good intentions. We want to make sure that it has an impact, that we've done our necessary needs assessment, and that we've documented it and measured the impact it has on our beneficiaries. And to do so, we will be assured that we will be able to transform Rotary, and that in doing so, we would have seized the moment, taken advantage of the opportunity, transformed a crisis into something good, and changed Rotary as well. Together, we can do this. Thank you very much, and good morning.
Thank you very much, District Governor-elect Anthony Tonipi Paruñgao. Maraming salamat po. Friends, we will have a 5-minute break. Please stay connected. We will be right back.
Rotary Club of Marikina West, through the leadership of Champion President Rodrigo G. Bautista and Chairperson of DISTAS 2020, P.P. Pope Solas, organized a painting contest with the students of Regional Lead School for the Arts in Angono. Participants were senior high school arts and design track students and alumni. Majority of them are out-of-school youth before they enter the senior high school program of DepEd. The painting contest intends to feature promising visual artists who creatively translate the theme, Rotary Opens Opportunities. The contest also highlights the essence of Rotary theme among these young artists, the chance to show their talent and reach greater number of audience. Winning artwork was used as the cover of DISTAS 2020 souvenir program.
Thank you, and we're back online. We're nearing one of the highlights of our DISTAS 2020. And to introduce our guest speaker for DISTAS 2020, please welcome the lovely spouse, Lana B. Paruñgao.
Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to finally be together on this beautiful Saturday morning. While I was so looking forward to having some bibingka at the Manila Hotel, here we are enjoying the company instead of our loved ones in the comfort of our homes. Today, I have the privilege of introducing our guest speaker for this online DISTAS 2020. I've known our keynote speaker for almost a decade now. I've come to know about his family and engaged with some of them over the course of several culture building projects that he has helped me with. Suffice to say that Mr. Francis J. Kong is one of the most influential people in my career, as he guided me through a number of change management projects in my HR leadership journey at Rotary. In our engagements, I came to realize how well versed he is in manufacturing and retail, and understood why he is a sought-after consultant and advisor to several top corporations, including Prime Holding Corporation, where he sits as a board member. His knowledge as an entrepreneur and other business-related areas is top leaders in the country, who he has mentored through the years. A recipient of the Outstanding Filipino Award, or TOEFL, in 2014, his generosity in mentorship is demonstrated not only in the over 300 talks he conducts annually, but evident in the 21 books that he has written. The book Family Matters was given the Anvil Award for Excellence, while his book Leadership That Matters was recognized as the #1 best-selling book in both National Bookstore and Power Books. I recently got drawn to the book, to a chapter in Leadership That Matters, The Path to Personal Reinvention. Now more than ever, it becomes resounding and apt, given how we need to look into transforming ourselves in order to adapt in this new norm. The conversations I've had with Francis, not only about business culture and people engagement, but will definitely touch on fashion. You see, as an entrepreneur, he started in the garments business, even ventured in bringing in an Italian brand, which he successfully marketed for several years. He then formed Success Options Inc., Funworks Inc., and co-founded Inspire Leadership Consultancy. Talk about reinventing and transforming oneself. Some of you may have listened to his talks or attended his workshops. Some may have tuned in to his 5-minute talk, Business Matters, in 98.7 DZFE, where he shares his insights on business, values, and leadership, which, by the way, garnered a special citation for inspirational programming by the Catholic Mass Media Awards. Some of you may also have read his column in the Philippine Star, for which he has been awarded the best column for 5 years, and eventually accorded Hall of Fame Award by the Catholic Mass Media Awards. He also received the Dr. Jose Rizal Award for Excellence in the field of journalism. More than these, I have known Mr. Francis Kong as the loving husband of Lilia, who he fondly calls the Ilocana, and father to 3 successful children: Brian, the restaurateur and band member; Hannah, a top wedding gown designer; and Rachel, who he calls his boss, and recently a doting grandfather to Mateo. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and honor to welcome our guest speaker, a most generous mentor and coach, Mr. Francis J. Kong.
office, but times have changed, and I think we have to just settle with our current situation right now. And so, I just want to thank you for that generous introduction, Lana. And as a matter of fact, while you were introducing me and I was listening to you, I felt like my entire life flashing in front of me. So maraming salamat po. You're very generous. And good morning to all our Rotarian friends. And my special thanks to for you guys for inviting me over. You know, I wish I could be there with you in person. And I wish I could be there shaking your hands, doing beso-beso, hugging and embracing each other. But I think that will have to wait, and things have become different now. Well, my first message to all of you now is this: be safe. You gotta stay healthy. And for the senior citizens out there, behave, stay home, obey your children. Life oftentimes brings us unexpected changes that would surprise us. You got to put yourself in my shoes. You know, for the past 12 or 15 years of my life, I would average around 300 talks and trainings and leadership seminars and so forth and so on. And now all those things are gone. Not exactly. I will expound a little bit. You know, in the speaking business, I've oftentimes been known to be a person who is invited for a huge gathering. Rotary is no exception. And I would speak in the country, I will go out of the country, and those things are gone, but not exactly, because thank God for technology, we still have the opportunity to communicate with each other. And so, what do? We adapt. And now I still do a lot of talks, trainings, and seminars. As a matter of fact, I've gone international. Not physically, because I used to do that, but now, like last night, I was with our kabayan in our OFW community in Dubai. And so, you and I, as leaders, we learn to adapt. COVID-19 has changed our lives tremendously. And it comes as a surprise. There are new problems and challenges that have mushroomed all over the place. These were not projected. These were problems that were not discussed during our last strategic business planning event. As a matter of fact, even economists, even feng shui experts, and even fortune tellers missed this. That's why a lot of my fortune telling and feng shui expert friends, their credibility now is at the line. And, you know, I love this thing. You take a look at this picture now, and it says, the fortune tellers now are having a hard time. The other one says, there's a young man coming into your life, miss, and he will weigh about 7 pounds. This one probably makes sense. You know, at the start of the year, all these fortune tellers are now saying that 2020 is really the year of the rat. Very, very good for business. Well, very good for business may not exactly be right, but year of the rat proves to be true. Why? Sabi nila, we are all in hiding. We only go out to get food. We store food to eat later. And when people come close to us, we run away. Rats. Well, you and I are living in very strange times. Things are changing and shifting at lightning speed. Take a look at how fast time changes. First, we had ECQ. Then we have GCQ. There's talk about MCQ. What will come next? Banana Q, barbecue, we don't know. Take a look at the weather. Don't forget, the weather is changing now. And don't forget, the Philippines is a country with 4 seasons. Hot, hotter, hottest, flood. We're entering that season. Consider our current situation. Many of us, we're into a lockdown. Somebody says the reason why they call it the lockdown, it is because they cannot spell the word quarantine. Listen to what people are saying. Sabi nung isa, you know, I need to practice social distancing from the refrigerator. Another one says, I still haven't decided where to go for my vacation. Is it going to be the living room or the bedroom? Another one says, I'm so excited. It's time to take out the garbage. What should I wear? Well, the world is turned upside down. As I mentioned kanina, old folks are sneaking out of the house and their kids are yelling to them, stay home, Dad, stay home. The virus has done what no woman had been able to do. Cancel all sports, shut down all bars, keep men at home. And this one is my personal favorite. Do not call the police on suspicious people in your neighborhood. These are neighbors without makeup and hair extensions. Now, I want you to look at the developments. During the first week of our lockdown, there was panic buying, there was hoarding, and businesses don't want to let their people go. They reassured them that their people will have their salaries and their families will be taken care of. That's the first week. Second to third week of the lockdown, PPEs and masks were the issues. Healthcare workers were overwhelmed. Hospitals no longer wanted to take in patients. And then business companies are worried that their resources may not last. So they had to let go contractual and those who were not regularized. Fourth week of the lockdown going forwards, governments were pressured to provide testing kits. Government also responded by entering into a beautiful collaboration with the private sector in building up facilities in order to receive COVID patients and help. And we realized that we cannot function without the other party. But look, when you fast forward to today, things have changed. Business are in a state of recovery, and there's no longer talk about the shortages of PPEs and masks. Why? My designer daughter, in fact, is now selling designer masks, and they're selling like hotcakes. You go to selective business establishments like department stores that are allowed to open, you even see designer PPEs. But the conversations I had with company executives and business owners now, from managing the crisis to thinking about how to come out of the crisis, results show that some businesses have closed. People are being retrenched. Some companies rotate their employees so that they go to work on a floating basis. Maybe some others, they'll go for 2 or 3 days in the week, then they rotate so that at least they have something to bring home. Businesses are now in recovery mode and preparing to go back. But even when you and I will go back, things will no longer be the same. As a leader, we need to understand that because it has everything to do with Rotary as well. But there's hope. China shows us hope. 90% of the manufacturing have been recovered, although now there is a wave happening in Beijing. But because of their experience and knowledge, they are arresting it right away and they're trying to fix it. New Zealand has zero COVID for a while. 2 or 3 broke out again. And so when business people ask me, Francis, what do you see? Is it going to be a V-shaped recovery? Is it going to be a U-shaped recovery? Or is it going to be an L-shaped recovery? I said none of the above. I think you and I are going to be encountering an M-shaped or W-shaped recovery wherein you will have spikes, you will have recovery, and then there will be spikes, and then there will be arresting of certain situations, and that's going to be the situation you and I are going to be. Ladies and gentlemen, leaders, you have to understand that COVID-19 is an unprecedented event that will bring in unprecedented challenges and problems. But an unprecedented event, when we handle it well, and when we practice our leadership skills correctly, will also bring in unprecedented opportunities. This is the advantage of being a senior citizen like me. I've gone through different crises in our country. I went through the very difficult situation during the 70s as it begins to break down in political turmoil. I've gone through the hyperinflation of the 80s. I've gone through the Asian financial crisis of the 90s. I've gone through the 9/11 year 2000, and then the very recent recession by subprime mortgage crisis 2007 to 2009. And now we have something like this. Now, COVID-19 should give us time to reflect. while we are now going through challenges, you have to also remember COVID-19 is a serious matter. COVID-19 does not discriminate. The strong, the rich, the powerful, the famous, plus the marginalized, the highly intellectual people, the not educated people, no one is spared. Even if you happen to be a member of the British royalty, you still can fall prey to this virus. Now, you contrast this to just a few months ago, when humanity boasts of being superior. Growth was unprecedented as well. And then we boast that technology will rule the world. We're going to be setting new frontiers in space and so forth and so on. That's why COVID-19 now reveals our own vulnerability, and it is a humbling experience for humankind. COVID-19 is a cruel killer. You cannot come close to comfort those who are sick, and you can't even come close to mourn for those who have been left behind. Lives will change. Behaviors will change. Now, my job as a business consultant now is I got to show you practically these are the things that have changed and will be changing, and we have to be prepared for this. Number one change that I see in a tremendous way is work from home is here to stay, and companies now will have to redefine what an office is. The age-old debate between should we send these millennials because they want to work from home with their productivity go down, that is already moot and academic. As a matter of fact, businesses now have discovered that they can still be productive while working from home. Work from home has revealed that people can be productive, which brings us to the next thing. By the way, when the CEO, Jack Dorsey of Twitter says, we will allow 95% of our people to work from home permanently. Well, immediately, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook and Jeff Bezos of Amazon.com started announcing that they too will do the same. Digital is the new default. Don't forget that. We are entering a contactless economy. High-touch industries will be the last industries that can recover. When COVID-19 broke, whatever we did or what we are now doing, you and I, ladies and gentlemen, this is not innovation yet. This is mere adaptation. We are merely adapting. The innovation and creativity will probably come later on. COVID-19 pandemic is an epidemic with passport as it has gone global. The key to business restoration is to rebuild consumer confidence. You can open all the shops. I'm involved with a company with 400 retail shops. Our brands are high-end. I mean, I sit on the board of a company that carries brands like North Face in Colombia and Tumi and Victorinox and so forth and so on. I understand what I'm talking about. So if you focus only on that area, you're going to be depressed. But then watch our online and our e-commerce. It has shot up tremendously in exponential rate. And so you and I will have to understand that this new reality will eliminate fluff, remove excess, and only the authentic, valuable stuff will not only remain, but will be the very valuable tools and ingredients that will make us thrive in the new reality. I'm going to sidetrack a little bit because all the newscasters, reporters, speakers, and everybody is talking about we are now in the new normal. I would tend to believe we're not. Why? When you say normal, that means there is now an accepted reference of measurement that can say this is normal. We don't have that yet. We are adapting, we are moving, and day-to-day developments will necessitate our change. Rotary as an organization is not exempted from this. Therefore, we are not entering the new normal, we are entering the next normals. And then there will be series of continuous adaptation and change. I remember many years ago, I was invited to keynote a conference that was organized by the Philippine Travel Agency Association, and the issue then was internet. And I was given a very difficult task to speak. Will internet now destroy travel agencies as an industry? I remember to this day what I said at that conference, and this is what I said. And just for your information, they've invited me again this time to talk about this pandemic. And I said, you guys seem to be always inviting me when there's a major problem. And so this is what I said, and this is what they remembered. The internet will not eliminate your industry. The internet will simply eliminate those that are inefficient. But those that are efficient will thrive. They will lead once things return to some sort of normalcy. Same thing here. There's major difference between craft and crap. This is what COVID-19 will eliminate. COVID-19 will remove fluff, excess, extravagance. But those that are true and valuable and efficient will not be eliminated. If we do the things and leadership correctly, those are the main ingredients that will make us lead, exploring the next opportunity, and then making sense out of it. Good leadership makes that happen. So the question now is this: aren't you excited? You should be. Rotary is valuable. Rotary is not fluff. Rotary has had years of credible reputation built and goodwill promoted. This is the time to prepare for the lead in the new reality that will come. And so, let me share this with you. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand one important thing. COVID-19 is not the end of the world. This too will pass. Next, COVID-19 is not a dead end. It is merely a detour. Next, never is the time more important as now that good leadership is needed to navigate the new reality. So here's something you may want to remember. While COVID-19 has changed our lives in many significant ways, this is very important, you gotta remember this. While COVID-19 has changed our lives in many significant ways, the methods may change, but the mission remains the same. You don't change your mission. You may have to change methodology, like what we're doing now. So allow me to present some leadership qualities and ideas that can help us navigate this place called terra incognita, or unrecognizable terrain, and I hope you're going to find this useful. And so, here is what I want to share with you. This is the main lesson. Anything that I said earlier, that's just the introduction. We are now entering the fourth industrial civilization, cries this motivational speaker. Another one says, we are in the era of digital disruption. Suddenly, all those voices and noises stopped, and the whole world went quiet, silent, and people stayed in their homes. COVID-19 has humbled humanity. Yet with all this talk about artificial intelligence and robotics and 5G plus some unfamiliar futuristic terms, some principles will remain timeless, especially in the area of leadership. Let me just give you a little bit of an idea. You know, when the first week of the lockdown happened, I thought to myself, maybe this is God putting me in the place of retirement. And so all of my events were canceled. Those for the rest of the year plus early next year, both local and international. And so I walked around the house and I said, this is how retirement looks like. But it's no longer the same. On the second week of the lockdown, I began to have people saying, do you do webinars? Third week of the lockdown, invitations come. And then I made a quick inventory. Ever since the third week of the lockdown until now, I've done about 79 webinars and seminars and talks and live interviews and guestings and so forth and so on. The methods have changed. I do it all in the home, but the mission remains the same. As a matter of fact, I'm beginning to enjoy staying home now. In fact, when they lift the quarantine, I will not tell people. Here are the essential leadership qualities needed for such a time like this. Number one, good leaders, no matter good times or challenging times, they practice intellectual honesty. The good leader is an optimist, but his optimism is tempered by realism. The realist insists upon seeing the world as it really is, not as he wishes it will be. Many motivational speakers are still motivating people in times of crisis. I said, no, you don't motivate people during the crisis. You lead people during the crisis. This objectivity, this refusal to engage in self-delusion is the mark of a true leader. In other words, you keep the faith. You hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst. The leader is a person of hope, has the courage to face the brutal facts and the realities of the current situation, and yet maintain that sense of hopefulness. Question: intellectually and honestly speaking, is Rotary worth my time and commitment? That is something you got to think about. You know, when times were good and things were fluffy and you have a lot of bling and a lot of artificialities all over the place, there are many people who join the Rotary, you know, just to get their faces posted on PR tools. And then there are those who just want to network there and do business and so forth and so on. But an honest to goodness assessment would lead to a deep questioning of our internal heart motives for joining Rotary. Eradication of polio, extension of help to the community, teaching the youth, involving them in community involvement and service. Added bonus, yes, networking with respectable people in the community, doing good, loving our neighbors. All these things are not enough for us to invest our time and involvement. We may not be intellectually honest if we don't see things in that light, do we? We keep on saying, we want to make a difference in this world. Well, here it is. Rotary is the platform for us to make a difference. But we first have to make a difference in our own lives first. And then we help make a difference. And the level up portion is this. You no longer make a difference in the world. You make this world different. And that's what Rotary has been doing. Intellectual honesty says it's not just the ability to do business. That is fluff. It's not for ego or to boost my reputation. That is bling. But then intellectual honesty says, if I believe in all the goodness that Rotary can do, then I will invest in my own personal investment and involvement, and I will involve others to do the same. So that brings us to number two. Good leaders take responsibility and refuse to play the blame game. Some people are good with blame storming. Good leaders accept the responsibility of making things happen, to make things happen. The enemy of responsibility is making excuses. I remember Peter Drucker saying this beautifully every time I do leadership training in companies. There are two kinds of people, and I will adopt this and say leaders, there are two kinds of leaders. Leaders who are good at producing results, and leaders who are good in producing excuses. Excuses why they cannot produce results. Intellectual honesty says the strength of Rotary lies in active recruitment of respectable people and the right fit and the right qualifications to join the club. Don't just go for quantity. That is direct marketing and network marketing. You enjoy the benefits, you understand the cause and the purpose and the mission, so you get quality people to join your clubs as well. Responsibility says, I will increase my active engagement with the members of my club. I will excite them such that they themselves will share the others the good and the benefit and the value of being involved in worthy causes. Next is this. Hey, this is super, super, super important. Get the women involved. This is an inescapable truth that you and I will have to face. In business, as in the corporate world, more and more women leaders are showing exemplary leadership, and they are doing an excellent job. Ma'am Lana is an example of that. I've known her and worked with her. Grabe, there are so many women leaders who are so good. You would miss out on the women's ability to contribute towards the growth of your organization if you don't just give them importance and value as to their contributions as well. Lakas ng women, grabe. As a matter of fact, I am planning to organize a huge conference March of next year, and I hope Rotary will support me and sponsor this. It will be called Men Empowerment Month. You know, I've always thought that the men in this country have been battered for the longest time. Don't get me seriously, I'm just kidding. In case you're not laughing, sweetheart, bigyan mo nga ng laughter. Number 3, good leaders take care of yourself. And then you take care of your people. One word keep on coming out these days, that word is empathy. Touch base with your members. Now you have technology. Mas maganda nga ngayon eh. You've got Zoom, you've got Team, you've got what? StreamYard, you've got Cisco WebEx, you've got so many things that enables you, hey, ask how they're doing. Communicate with them on a regular basis. And then communicate. This is one of the most exciting times I've ever imagined. I'm now reaching out to actually more people than ever. One suggestion, when you're at home doing communications, importante po to. Make sure you're wearing pants. So many people fail to understand the camera is still on. Pagtayo mo, nahalata. Let them know that you are concerned with their well-being. Take the time to thank them individually for understanding and contribution during these challenging times. Ask what challenges they have, and that if it is within your capability, you would provide the support they would need. You know, when security and normalcy are challenged, all this can trigger grief. The familiar stages of shock and then denial and then anger that leads to acceptance or depression, they still operate, by the way. Be aware that your people are also going through this. That's what good leaders are. You have a double burden of taking care of yourself and at the same time taking care of your family and also taking care of your people as well. Communicate with your people constantly, especially those people who are in your inner circles, your officers as well. Here is one feature of effective leadership that will never, never fail. Vulnerability is the key to credibility. Let me repeat that. Vulnerability is the key to credibility. Acknowledge that you may not have all the answers and that you may make wrong decisions or change decisions abruptly, but you will be there to guide them and help them. Exhibit patience when your people make mistakes, and then you can help rectify them naman. There will be people who cannot handle their anxieties well, and their desire for self-preservation and protection becomes visible. Acknowledge this as normal. Provide a safe forum for your people to address their anxieties. Tell them about yours and create the connection you need to have with your team and saying, guys, we're all in this together. Now, we have our own challenges, but this is also our platform to help reach out to the community and help contribute and help make people's lives better. Number 4, good leaders take care of themselves. I mentioned that, I'm going to mention this again. As a leader, you cannot lead effectively if you are not in a healthy state. Brush up on your leadership skills. Read more books and get materials and continue to learn and develop yourself. Create a routine. Practice mindfulness. Take care of your mind. Do not allow negativity to creep in because it will have a major effect on your disposition. Do not be distracted like what's happening now. In my place, there are sounds of trucks and they're honking. Be informed but do not be consumed. What do I mean? Do not be fixated on the news. We need to be updated, but you don't let news consume you. These are news cycles. When you open the TV and it says breaking news, no, sometimes it is, but in most cases it is not. It's the same news being delivered by different people, being presented in different ways. It's the same old stuff. And so you got to discipline yourself and then make sure that you don't allow negativity to creep into your mind. Yes, you want to be updated, so you have to discipline yourself in being updated lang. Do not be consumed. Do not let negativity occupy your mind space. Number one, they're not even paying rental. And number two, it's going to be costly for you. Media shapes our thinking. And what we watch and consume becomes part of our thinking process. And while we are at the same subject matter, you know, while we're at home, we can watch movies, Netflix, and everything. So here's my advice. Stay away from dark movies like World War Z, MEV-1 virus contagion, all these zombies and Walking Dead and vampires and so forth and so on. You don't need that. Here's my suggestion. Why don't you get yourself to watch beautiful, inspiring movies that can help give us, uplift our spirit, and even give us ideas on how to do leadership better. Now, this is just me, but my suggestion now is, for me, the best movie I have ever seen in my life until now is Chariots of Fire, and then Pursuit of Happiness. There's just so many good movies out there. I have warned my children in the home, stay away from dark movies. I don't know if you've noticed one thing, but many movies coming from the West are getting darker and darker. And I also monitor the movies that are being watched by the kids. Reasons why they should commit suicide, my goodness, we don't need that garbage. And so my wife and I, we look at each other and we said there's been a seemingly deterioration of shame and honor and dignity. And so we have to shy our way from movies like this. And so we prefer to watch Korean telenovela like Crash Landing on You and Itaewon. You know, have a good laugh, uplifts our spirit. Your quotidian routine, something that you do every day, your relationship with your immediate family, your news consumption, your wealth, possibly your income, all of this have changed in ways that were unthinkable just a few months ago. But nevertheless, here's my advice. You still need a routine. Part of that routine is constant communication with your people too. But here are some personal routine that I'd like you to develop. Working from home, quarantine is not a, I will just live through the day one day at a time thingy. You will be overwhelmed. You gotta have a routine. Wake up in the morning, best time to do quiet time. Why? Start the day, read scriptures, God talks to you, and then God talks to you, and then you pray, you talk to God, you build your inner strength muna. And for those of you who are working, don't forget this. The morning hours are the fresh time for you to do creative work. Don't do brainless administrative work like blindly responding to email. No, no, no. You reserve the most precious morning in the morning to do creative work. That's when I do my best writing. And then in the afternoon, you can do less creative, demanded work. And then you got to cool down for the evening. Time for work, work. Time to stop working, you stop. Because you need to have a routine. Next. Do exercise. You know, pre-COVID time, I've been exercising. Even if I don't have time to go to the gym, I can do that at home. Now I'm still doing it. Eat healthy. Don't go into mindless munchings and everything, and create a workspace so that your family knows when you're in that space, that's work for you, and they'll respect that place, and you lend that space for them. You respect them too. Finish work, rest, get enough sleep. And this is important, get some sunlight. Somebody says, drink water, get sunlight. You're basically a house plant with more complicated emotions. And be sure you practice a disciplined time for pause, meditation, to calm yourself before making decisions. I'm going to give you number 5 now. Leaders prepare for their next generation leaders. One of the best things that has ever happened to Rotary, in my personal opinion, of course, I'm not so competent to say this, but this is my opinion as an outside observer. One of the best things that I've seen happen in Rotary is Rotaract. Develop the young, mentor them, model good leadership, produce future leaders out of them. First, I will share with you what I normally present in my very expensive leadership training programs. You know, that's my way to make you guys guilty, because I love the honor and the privilege of doing this for you. And so I won't charge you extra, by the way, but after my talk, you will have to be passing a basket for tithes and offerings. Kidding. In case you took me seriously, counting laughter. So first, I'm going to share with you the mentality, the mindset, and the personalities of the different generations. After you know this, you will now have the basic reference of how to treat each member of Rotary and how to reach out to the young as well. First, let me share with you the traditionalists. These are the people born before 1945. You have grandparents now, and this is, there are still people who are living beyond that age, and their lives and personalities were shaped by major events in their lives. What were their major events? Take a look at this. Well, you have wars. You have the atomic bomb. You have the Pacific Wars. You have wars and wars and wars. And you have to understand one important thing. Major events called current events during their time will have a permanent fixture in the way their personality and the way they think and the way they behave is shaped. Let me explain. The traditionalists, during their time, it was war. And so you take a look at their personalities now. What are their personalities? Number one, they have high respect for authority. These are usually, you know, they are still chairman of the board who are belonging to this generation. They've gone through the war in the Pacific, they've gone through the German aggression, they've gone through the Hiroshima and so forth and so on. That's why in many companies, when you have old people here being led by younger people, they don't have any problem. They understand authority, right? Now look at their personality. Number two, they're very hardworking. Number three, they're very frugal. And this is the most obvious personality among the traditionalists. Listen to me. This is so obvious. Eto na. They hoard stuff. Why? They went through the shortages of stuff during their younger days. And number two, when they buy groceries, they want to buy in bulk. You know, my mom passed away a couple of years ago. I remember telling my mom, Mom, you don't have to buy those soap. We have plenty. Maubos na tayo. And then she bought some more. And then we opened the cabinet. There's a cabinet full of soap. They are the traditionalists. So if you want to lead them, you want to motivate them, it's so easy. Respect. That's all they want. Now, you want to piss them off. You let them see the way you spend money like crazy, not being frugal, and they get pissed off. See, it has a direct correlation to the way we lead. Now, I'm going to talk to you about the baby boomers. These are the people born between 1946 and 1960. Let's take a look at their current events during their days. What? You have Make Love Not War, hippies, you have the Beatles, and you have the women marching out into the streets fighting for their wars. And what do you have? You have First Man on the Moon, you have the Vietnam War, you have Martin Luther King fighting for segregation and so forth and so on. Rotary still has a lot of officers and people belonging to this generation, isn't it? Now, take a look at their personality and connect this to the current events they had. Ang personality po ng mga baby boomers is this. Very simple. Life is a zero-sum game. Either you win or you lose. No in between. That's why the messaging and the sermons of the parents belonging to the baby boomers. Anak, magtrabaho ka, kung hindi magiging pulubi ka. If you don't work, you're going to be a beggar. There's no in between. Life is either you win or you lose. It's that simple. Now, I'm going to bring you the personalities of people belonging to Gen X. Malaking population to sa Rotary. These are the people born between 1961 to 1980. And if you belong to Gen X, let me tell you something you may not want to hear. You are the most difficult generation to manage. Why? You are the most suspicious generation of them all. Let me explain the reason why. If I were to quiz you now and ask you this question, what is the most famous American TV series that accurately depict your personality being Gen Xers? I'm going to tell you what it is. It is the X-Files. Yes, that's how you behave. You suspect everyone. In Filipino language, this is the way you would converse. Pare, mag-ingat ka dyan sa katabi mo, baka alien yan. You don't trust anyone. Here are some other current events during your time. You have what? You have Sesame Street, you have MTV, and then you have, I don't know if you've noticed that equipment that is Atari. The entry level into video games. Very crude, very rude, pero papasok na yan. Now, why is your generation the most suspicious generation? Let me tell you why. Our generation, because I belong to the baby boomers, we have let your generation down. In America, Richard Nixon let the next generation down. My goodness, how can a president of a country commit a crime? And in our country, we have had our own political situations as well, many, many years of that. And so, let me share with you now the next generation, which is Generation Y or the millennials. These are the people born between 1980 to year 2000. Yan ang Y generation. Ano naman po ang kanilang current events? Let me show you what their current events are. Number 1, 911, suicide bombing, global warming, the destruction and the deterioration of the environment. And so, if you take a look, this is the biggest current event, the biggest impact on this generation. What is it? Social media, platforms, apps, Facebook. And so, take a look now at the personalities of the Gen Y. Look, ito yung napansin ko sa mga Gen Y. Number 1, they don't want to make plans for the future. Kaya nga, meron silang expression, YOLO. What is YOLO? You only live once. But I'm telling you, hindi lamang po yung YOLO, meron pa silang FOMO. What is FOMO? Fear of missing out. Somebody post a picture of lasagna in their IG or Instagram and they'll say, oh, I want it. I gotta go there. I don't want to miss out. But notice something. COVID-19 changes everything, isn't it? And so this is also a video generation. Questions the importance of going to college. Why? This is a generation that has been subjected to wrong parenting. Why? Habang lumalaki po sila, their parents now began believing the lines of motivational speakers and television personalities who don't understand what they're talking about. Follow your passion and then your money will follow you. You can do anything you want. Mali-mali. Kung sounds right, pero kulang. And so these kids now, in their younger days, they begin to question, Ma, should I enter college? Look at Bill Gates. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. Look at Steve Jobs. They all drop out from college and they're the richest man in the world. Should I go to college? Mali. Now, I will explain kung bakit ganito ang personality nila. Because you begin to see these young people now videoing themselves saying, you know, I'm just 19 years old. I'm a millionaire now. Guess what? COVID-19 eliminates all those crap, isn't it? And I'll tell you why. You know, I've had young people approaching me saying, Sir Francis, convince my mom, should I go to college? I mean, di ba, will college make me rich? Sabi, oo nga, no? Di ba? Sino nga yun? Sino? Mark Zuckerberg, sino ba? Steve Jobs. Sino pa yung isa? Bill Gates, grabe. Di ba? O, di ba, sir? Di ba? Go, wait. This is the way you have to think. Let's process this. First question is not whether you should go to college or not. The first question is you got to ask this question to all these young rich people, from what college did you drop out from? Harvard. My goodness. Ikaw nga, di ka makakwalify ng Harvard. You're thinking of dropping out. Go back to school. And so you need to put some semblance of reason with these millennials at that time, but COVID-19 effectively and efficiently erased all of those fluff. And I'll tell you why YOLO was their expression. Bakit? Itong personality ng mga bata, they were anxious. They were saying, if you talk to them and say, anak, what is your 2-year plan, 5-year plan? The millennials have mastered the art of rolling their eyes. Why? Ang kanilang iniisip ay ganito, 2-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan, sobrang tagal. Sumakay ka sa bus, yung katabi mo suicide bomber, mamaya pagsabog patay ka na. I might as well enjoy the moment. Now, they are beginning to realize life is not that easy. You have to make plans. You have to save money. You have to have an emergency plan. So, there are blessings with COVID, isn't it? And now, this is where you need to understand. By the way, the millennials are getting old. But they are now in strategic positions for leadership. If I want to grow my organization, I'm going to focus on these brilliant millennials and then train them on leadership skills, and then also watch out for the young people, the youth, because this is where I come in. Let me talk to you about Generation Z. These are now the people born after year 2000. Some people call them Zillennials, some people call them Generation Z. My Aussie friends call them Generation Z. What does that mean? That means if you and I cannot agree on one common term, that means we don't know them yet. So here are their personalities. Number one, Gen Z, they are a Google reflex generation. What do I mean? And they are highly inquisitive. Anong ibig sabihin? Subukan mo lang sa mga anak nyo. The most frequent question is why? Why, ma? Why? Why? Why, ma? Why, dad? Explain. Why? I just want to know, dad. Anong classic response ng magulang? Basta. You know, I did a parenting talk in Ateneo. And then this father stood up and said, Pare, my teenage son keeps on asking me questions I could not even answer. And I said, what did you do? Sabi niya, I discovered the perfect solution. I bought my son an Alexa. Doon ka na lang magtanong. Next, they are the Google reflex generation. And then they are also highly philosophical. There is a resurgence in the interest of philosophy books. Alfred Nietzsche and then Bertrand Russell. In fact, I talked to a Gen Z and I said, oh, ano binabasa mo? And then they sold me this book. I said, this is the work of Bertrand Russell. And the title, of course, is Nausea. Life has no meaning, no entrance, no exit. Everything is meaningless. Isn't that one of the reasons why it can cause to mental health problems and depression as well? Feeding the mind? Now, anong ibig sabihin ng Google reflex generation? Simpleng-simple. While I'm speaking in schools, these young people now are actually Googling me. They wanted to find out whether what I'm talking is really authentic and real or am I just making it up. That's a Google reflex generation. Next, everything needs to be Instagrammable. Kailangan may IG yan. You know, they want to travel, not because they want to explore the place, although that's part of it, but they want to be seen on the photo as having traveled. Next, they are infested with wars and rumors of war. That's why the Gen Z is going to be the most anxious generation ever. Even before COVID, we already have high mental health issues, and then we have a high depression issues, and more so pa ngayon. Next is, they love to read books. That's the beauty of it. And they don't like e-books. They want the old-fashioned hardbound, softbound books. So I asked this student, Why do you love to read books? And for your information, when the millennials were still in school, I was already speaking. When I asked them, how many among you love to read books? In a gathering of 300, 400 or something, only about 20 plus, 30 plus people who raised up their hand. They were not interested in books. They were interested in gadgets. Today, I'm not kidding. Had we been in school, I don't care how many students are there listening to me. When I ask the same question, a high 35% up will raise up their hand. When I ask this young kid, why do you love to read hardbound books? Ang sagot sa akin, I love the touch of the book. And when I open the book, there's this beautiful smell. I said, that is called dust mites. Next. They don't have problem with diversity. Beautiful. You put any of these young kids right smack in the middle of somewhere, and right beside him is a Nigerian, across him is Asian, Singaporean, at the back is probably somebody from Scandinavia, and they blend in perfectly because of social media. And then I want you to take a look at this. You take a look at all these qualities. Ito pa, they look down on the millennials. Para sa kanila, itong mga millennials, napaka-shallow, hanggang social media lang. And then when they see their kuya or their ate doing Mobile Legend and then doing all those stuff, they will say na, ay, naku, walang alam yung mga to. And now this is the most concerning thing. Take a look at all of this. This is going to be the biggest generation that will grow up to become atheists. And I have had 3 senior guidance counselors who have told me, sir, totoo po yun. That's validated. And these are big, big, big Catholic institutions. Now, with COVID-19, I want you to see the kind of generation now that will be produced. This is my job. I do leadership training. It is my job to understand demographic profile so that we will know how to lead them. And I want you to engage your people and your members because Rotaract, yung mga batang yan, many of them will have this. So, the population of young people ages 17 and 24, they were already facing mental health problems. Now they feel delayed because of COVID-19, and it's added to their anxiety levels. Generation Z will be disadvantaged. Why? While the millennials entered the world wherein headhunters were making a fortune, so many people, jobs, wanting to get them, now you have a scarcity of jobs. And after every economic downturn, they will have to enter with a lower pay. And that is a fact. So many of them will feel, number 1, they will feel postponed. Number 2, they will feel they are pushed aside. Number 3, they will feel they are penalized. And number 4, many of them are panicked. Your kids will have to do schooling at home. They will have to make adjustments. Pick up skills for online education is now a required essential stuff. But don't worry, these kids can learn quickly. They have missed out on many things. They miss their friends. They miss their clubs. They miss their sports events. They miss important occasions like graduation exercises, JS proms, and so forth and so on. The challenges are daunting. Here's a somber truth. Generation Z is what I call the pandemic generation or the corona generation, COVID-19 generation. 2 potential positive effects. Number 1, the expansion of their resourcefulness and innovation. Just like difficult times encourage frugality in my parents' generation during what? 40s and the war, what can foster out of Gen Z kids is the source of resourcefulness and being innovative about it. The second positive effect is the expansion of service and community involvement. That's why I needed to present this to Rotary. You have to understand, Gen Z are cause-oriented. They are activists. They want to put meaning and purpose into their lives. They want to be involved. Can you imagine that pool of people who can help us grow in our mission. The pandemic conditions may steer Gen Z to be conscious about how they can serve others or to give to those who are less fortunate. Now, there are three potential negative effects. Number one, the normalization of isolation. Number two, the normalization of panic and anxiety. And number three, this is what I don't like, the normalization of scarcity mindset. Sana hindi mangyari yun. Yung bang everything is so scarce. Habang nandiyan, kukunin ko na. Then develops the gulang system. No. We must work to ensure that the coronavirus doesn't remove hope and faith and optimism from Gen Z. And by the way, this reminds me of a webinar. I will engage myself in a shameless plug. I had a client who invited me to speak to their generation. This is a patriarch, second generation na siya. Pagkatapos he's now passing on the business to the third generation. I thought he wanted me to speak on business succession and family constitution and so forth. He says, no, Francis, we have time for that. But I want you, because all the kids and all the young people are now trapped in their homes. I want you now to teach them skills and values for life. And so I expanded the concept. So I'm going to get Chinky, who will teach on money, Novi, who will teach on online education, and myself, who will teach them skills for living. This may not be for you now, but you might want to encourage other people to join this. Here is what we need to understand. The methods may change, but the mission remains the same. Improvement of the station of people's lives. That's what Rotary is all about, isn't it? Well, the pandemic is more than enough of a challenge to change us. We are changed. We will be changed. But we just got to make sure we change for the better. Beyond the challenge, we should expect excellent opportunities. Opportunity generally is somewhere at the intersection of where nobody else is looking and change happening. Always remember that. This will happen only if you live your life well and you lead well. We are all in this together. I always hear people say we are all in the same boat. Well, yes, we may all be in the same boat, but we may have different storms. So you, as a leader, you need to understand what the storms of your people are and then address it, help them, communicate with your crowd. Make them so excited that they can hold the goodness of Rotary to themselves. They want to share it with others and to impart the goodness of what we can do so that others will be involved. And our potential asset now is those young people. As a business person, I have long understood, because my business used to be garments. I said, if my sales is high and my business is great, but if I don't see young people buying my products, I'm going to be in trouble. It means my business is dying. It's the same thing with churches. When you go to church, nobody is there but those who are cramming for their final exams, those old people. And you know that that church is not vibrant. When you have an organization that doesn't have younger members coming in, you know that that organization is going to be in trouble, isn't it? And so I would like to see an extremely vibrant Rotary, full of enterprising and dynamic leaders making a difference in your community and our country as well. A Rotary that's full of dynamic and able women leaders as well, and energetic young people, full of hope and idealism in making a difference in the lives of many. And but with the grace of God and with your cooperation, to exercise all this with great leadership skills, this will happen. Well, I think I've said too much now. So let me just end by saying this. Some people have asked me, so Francis, what are your thoughts for the future? Remember, hold on to the faith, but have the courage to face the brutal facts. I said, we will do our best. We will hope for the best, but we are prepared for the challenges. At the end of the day, I can't give a definitive answer when I'm asked that question. Nobody can tell the future. But my response has always been this. You know what? We don't know what the future holds. But I certainly know, you and I know, it is God who holds the future. And that's the faith that I'll hang on to. Maraming salamat po sa inyo for giving your time, and thank you very much for having me.
Wow. Just plain wow. That, my friends, well, palakpakan ulit natin the legendary Mr. Francis Kong.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very inspiring, very powerful, very timely. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you.
At this point, I'd like to call DG Tonipi Paruñgao. Ay, wait, I'm sorry. We will have a 5-minute question and answer portion.
Sure.
Very short, but we will do our best to accommodate and answer all your questions. Just go to the question and answer tab sa screen ninyo, and we'll do our best to accommodate the questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Huh? Question from Oliver Grospe. On this time of transition or adaptation, definitely a lot of opportunities is in the air. Everyone has a lot to say, and a lot of leaders will emerge. What can we say that a leader, or how can we spot a real transformational leader from a skillful manipulator or a pseudo-transformational leader? Coming from OG, from RC de la Paz, Marcos High.
Oh, gee, that's a great question. By the way, when the speaker says that's a great question, that means the speaker doesn't have an answer yet. But I want to tell you what this is all about. Fluff pseudo-leaders, pseudo-speakers, pseudo-gurus will easily be spotted during this time. For me, the most important thing that you have to understand is not just one, but I'm going to give you a couple. You have to spot that this is a potential good leader and a good material for us because, number one, that person has competence. But competence alone can either make you a good leader or it can make you a terrible leader. That's what we're observing now. And so, dapat makasama po siya. Number one, this should be a person who has competence and at the same time has character. And that can be shown by the way he or she gets involved in caring for other people, not just for the self. Madaling maspat po yun. When that person begins to talk about benefits that doesn't seem to be making benefits for others, but for the self, those are alarm bells na. And I like the term wherein you say na paano natin ma-spot yung tunay at yung fake. Well, you need to communicate with that person, check the track record. For me naman po, it's very, very visible. How do you define what a lie is all about? What is the definition of a lie? A lie is logical inconsistency. Kaya yung sinasabi at yung ginagawa ng tao, kung hindi po consistent yan, medyo may alarm bells na. Kung yung sinasabi niya doesn't fall into logical consistency that can give you a logical conclusion, medyo complicated yata to. And so those are the things that I would say. You got to have a person with competence. You got to have a person with character. You got to see that that person really cares. And other leadership skills would come in the form of effective communications, consistency, and all those. But it starts with that one, sir.
Next question. Next question from Jesus Acantilado. Sir Kong, during this pandemic, what can you suggest on how can we augment our healthcare system? Being Rotarian, aside from polio, any suggestions, sir?
That's way beyond my pay grade to answer, but let me just give it a good try. You've been doing that. I've been reading in the papers, certain chapters have been giving all these PPEs and masks, and there's just innumerable ways you can give and help our healthcare workers. But for me, this is the most important thing. Keep yourself healthy. If you don't take care of yourself, you're going to be overwhelming our healthcare system, and that's not good. And then now that you've kept yourself healthy, spread the gospel. Teach people, hey, stay home, be safe, and then wear masks, of course. And so we can do in our own small ways in helping not overwhelm the healthcare system by doing our own part. So there's just innumerable ways, and you are already doing that. So I'm glad that you are doing so.
Question from Agnes Caballo. The millennials, the misunderstood generation, and probably pain in the blank, must be an answer. Pain in the blank of the older generations is actually influencing big business today. They are now on top of management, determining policy, methods, systems, etc. And then we have to qualify millennials in the middle and upper class levels versus millennials in the lower economic levels who seek jobs without graduating from high school. And those who leave the country to work as domestics abroad. What's the role of Rotary for them at this time? Rotary is still relatable to them.
So that's the end of the question. Okay, let me try to answer that one. Every year, I make a rounds of speaking to our kabayan, our OFWs all over the world. Unfortunately, this year I have to do Zoom na lang. There's very, very little opportunities open for OFWs working abroad, specifically in the Middle Eastern section. There are openings now, but malakas po itong opening na to, but we need to let people understand if our OFWs still insist on working abroad, they have to take up Nihongo. Japan is opening up. Asian in this part, maybe, but in the Middle East, their chances are getting slimmer and slimmer. I would like to first address the older generations. The millennials are not perennial pain in the backside of the human anatomy. The reason why we feel that way is because we don't understand them and they could not understand us. If you trace the history of our upbringing, every generation has problems with the succeeding generations. We always complain, itong mga batang to. But actually, the millennials now are extremely resourceful. They are creative. They are very good with technology. We just have to channel their energy into productive endeavors. And as I like to say now, COVID-19 has helped us do that. We have to channel this. But they are our future leaders, aren't they? And so, para sa akin po, and I hope that this will resonate with everyone in Rotary, mentoring today is a two-way street. We mentor the young, and the young mentor us. We mentor the millennials and the zillennials in terms of values and attitude and work ethics and cause orientation and contribution, but the millennials should mentor us in operating Zoom, technology. That is their area of expertise. And so while the whole world now struggles with the racial issues and divide, I'd like sana that we should also do our way in narrowing yung tinatawag na demographics or age divide. because we're going to be working together. Just to give you an example, my daughter, my youngest, Rachel, is right now here beside me. She is now my boss. I'm learning more from her, and I will continue to learn also. So that's the way, Paul. We help each other, we mentor each other.
Question from Ruby Reyes. Mr. Kong, how do you develop a new generation of Rotary leaders in these trying times?
Well, first of all, this is the best platform to show the young people that Rotary really can make a difference. And so we cannot mandate these young people to follow us. We can always model that creates the appetite and the attraction for them to be doing what we're doing. And secondly, in realistic form, ako talaga, malaki ang aking focus doon sa mga young people natin, yung Rotaract. Let these young people attract the other young people and let them see ito yung involvement namin sa community. We are making people's lives better. And the work now is a lot easier compared to many years ago. During the 80s, isa lang ang inculcation sa utak ng mga bata, I want to be rich. Greed is good, according to Wall Street movie by Greco. In the 90s, in the 10s, whatever it is, now it becomes social media. Now, these young people are really concerned with fighting for a cause. My clients in the corporate world tell me nga minsan may mga team building seminar kami, meron kami mga educational, mga training seminar, they show this interest. But when we have donations, serving the poor, or going out, they sign up. And they love being a part of this. That is one potential that we may want to adopt. That's how we develop them as future leaders too, by tapping into them, but by first showing ourselves as good examples to attract them as well.
Thank you, Mr. Kong, and thank you to all those who sent their questions. We will do our best to send this to the legend Francis Kong, and he
Sir, ang
do his
pagkakaalam
best
ko,
to accommodate them.
Sir, ang pagkakaalam ko, yung mga tinatawag na legend, mga yumao na po. So,
The living legend. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat. Thank you very much.
Huwag po kayong aalis. At sa puntong ito, nais kong tawagin ang ating District Governor-elect, Tonipi Paruñgao, at ang kanyang magandang may bahay, to be assisted by our DISTAS chairman para i-present po ang certificate of appreciation at token.
Salamat po. Thank you.
This is the certificate of appreciation that our district and the host club has prepared for Mr. Francis Kong. And with your leave, I'd like to read the contents. It says, certificate of appreciation is given to Francis Kong for his inspiring and invaluable insights as guest speaker on transformational leadership and collaboration during the Rotary District 3800 Training Assembly, or DISTAS 2020, via Zoom webinar, done on this day, June 20, 2020, signed Ronald Solis, Chairman, and yours truly as incoming District Governor. This will be delivered to you, sir, at your residence tomorrow.
Via
Lalamove. And
may I be allowed to explain the district gift to the renowned Mr. Francis J. Kong. Ito po ang the cover of this box, no? Is the photo cover of our souvenir program. Ito po ay the winning art piece, no?
Wow.
There was an art contest that we gave to some promising art students from the Regional Lead School of the Arts in Angono, and this is the winning piece. No?
Wow.
Inside are some modest gifts consisting of potteries from Sagada, some clothing materials from our indigenous brothers from the north. Maraming pong salamat, Mr. Francis.
Maraming salamat po and Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sir Tonipi. Thank you po. Thank you, Lana. Thank you.
Again, thank you, Mr. Francis Kong. We will have a 5-minute break. Please stay connected. We will be right back. Thank you again. We're back. What you saw was a same-day edit. Allow me to turn over the proceedings to PP Jose Vicente Jimenez to facilitate the district business. Thank you.
Thank you, Past President Boyet. Visiting dignitaries, Champion District Governor Nelson Aspe and spouse Mila, incoming District Governor Tonipi Paruñgao and spouse Lana, District Governor-elect Ogie Suliman, District Governor nominee Bobby Tanyag, past District Governors, fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors, guests, lovely spouses, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The various talks earlier today pointed out RI District 3800's pride in its successful, innovative, and meaningful holding of this major training event, the DISTAS. District Governor Nelson and incoming District Governor Tonipi echoed the same sentiment and acknowledged with grateful appreciation and thanks the cooperative efforts of all Rotarians in District 3800 for a well-attended district training assembly. Having said that, and because the Rotary International Manual of Procedure provides for the adoption of resolutions consistent with the spirit and principles of Rotary, this portion of the DISTAS, the business session, is indeed very important, as we cannot close the DISTAS without the adoption of certain resolutions. At this juncture, let us begin with the resolutions of thanks and appreciation to the many Rotarians, delegates, friends, guests, and officials who have given their time, effort, resources, unqualified support, and invaluable services, thereby ensuring the success of District Training Assembly 2020 of RI District 3800. Please note that the basics of parliamentary procedure shall be substantially observed in these proceedings. And now, I recognize Past President Irene Besido Garcia of the Rotary Club of Manpasan.
Mr. Chairman, I most respectfully move for the approval and adoption of resolutions of thanks to all those who helped make this DISTAS a success. These resolutions are as follows. Resolved, as it is hereby resolved that the delegates and representatives of the member clubs of Rotary International District 3800 in the meeting assembled do hereby express their heartfelt gratitude and sincere appreciation to the following. To RI President-elect Holger Knack for taking the time to make and send a customized video message for the DISTAS, thereby contributing to and ensuring the success of this event. To RI Director Rafael Rafi Garcia III for his inspirational message to the DISTAS attendees. To Governor Nelson Aspe for his encouraging message to all the DISTAS attendees. To our guest of honor and speaker, Mr. Francis J. Kong, for gracing the occasion and giving his insights on transformational leadership and collaboration. And to express our heartfelt gratitude to the different program participants, marshals, and committee chairs for their collective effort in sharing with us their wealth of experience and expertise, thereby contributing to the success of DISTAS 2020. Further resolve, as it is hereby resolved, that the delegates and representatives of the member clubs of RI District 3800 in the meeting assembled do give recognition to the DISTAS 2020 chairman and the committee chairpersons of the various working committees in effectively planning, organizing, and conducting a comprehensive and well-balanced program, and hereby express sincere thanks and grateful appreciation for their dedication, valuable efforts, time, talent, and resources generously and unselfishly extended and given by the following Rotarians. Honorary Chair of the DTA 2020 IDG Tonipi Paruñgao, DTA Overall Chair as well as Finance Chair PP Pope Solis, DTA Vice Chair and MC PP Boyet Sacro, Chair Programs for PP June Angeles, Chair Souvenir Program PP Nick Baterina, Chair Finance and Club Listing Club Secretary Kat Evasco, Chair IT and Internet Applications PP Radian Fantone, the chairs of Physical Arrangements Champion President Rod Bautista and Rotarian Brian Resuello, Chair Creative Design Spouse Vicky Solis, and to all DTA participants, masters of ceremonies, presenters, and those who have contributed immensely in making this DISTAS a resounding success, including the members and spouses of the host club. To give due regard to the members of the Rotary Club of Marikina West for their efforts and invaluable service in handling this successful, significant, meaningful, and innovative and memorable DISTAS under the guidance and leadership of transforming District Governor Tonipi Paruñgao. To demonstrate our admiration for and high respects to incoming District Governor Tonipi Paruñgao and his spouse Lana for the dedication and relentless endeavors in support of Rotary's ideals and objectives, and for unselfishly devoting their time, effort, and resources for the realization of an effective and successful DISTAS 2020. To recognize with utmost sincerity the active participation and valuable support of the Rotary spouses as our partners in service, as well as the Rotaractors in the district, thereby making DISTAS 2020 a significant, meaningful, and memorable event. And finally, to all the delegates, participants, and sponsors of this first ever online district training assembly, without whose dedication and commitment to Rotary's ideal of service, the success of this very important event would not have been possible. Mr. Chairman, I move that all these resolutions of thanks be presented and approved.
Thank you, Past President Irene. Is there a second to the motion for the approval of the resolutions?
Mr. Chairman.
Past President Nikki Di Vega of RC Mandaluyong Uptown is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I move to second the motion.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, all the resolutions are hereby approved. The next item that must be approved by the DISTAS is the proposed district budget for Rotary Year 2020-2021. By a call, the incoming District Finance Chair, Past President June Safra of the Rotary Club of Pasig, to present the budget and make the corresponding motion. Past President June.
Mr. Chair, I wish to make it of record that soft copies of the proposed district budget, which has been duly approved by the incoming Executive Committee during its meeting held on June 5, 2020, had previously sent via email to all the clubs through the respective president-elects. The main highlights of the proposed district budget are as follows. Our projected receipts are based on having 2,700 Rotarians contributing 600 and 100 pesos for district and calamity fund respectively, and the RI subsidy. On projected disbursements, we allocated certain amount for training support subsidy, programs and service project subsidy, district operation and organizational support, administrative and office administration. All budgeted expenses are in accordance with RI and our district guidelines. In addition, our calamity fund provisions. Incoming District Governor Tonipi had advanced already the amount of 250,000 in support of Governor Nelson's program at this time of COVID-19 pandemic. It is therefore my honor and privilege to move that the following resolutions be approved and adopted, and I quote, resolved as it hereby resolved that the proposed budget of RI District 3800 be as the same is hereby approved. Resolved further that the district budget as approved be circulated to all clubs in the district to ensure its widest dissemination possible.
Thank you, Past President June. Is there a second to the motion? Past President Lito PBB Bermundo of San Juan North is hereby recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I am pleased to second the motion.
Thank you, Past President Lito. Are there any comments or objections? There being none, the resolutions on the budget are hereby approved. Finally, Charter President Bobby Rosadilla of the Rotary Club of the Rotary E-Club of Marikina is hereby recognized on the matter regarding the action to be taken on the proposed implementing guidelines on the District Calamity Fund. Charter President Bobby.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to propose the following resolution, and I quote, be it resolved that the implementing guidelines on the District Calamity Fund, copy of which had likewise been previously sent to the clubs in the district, governing the use, disposition, maintenance, and replenishment of the same, be hereby confirmed and ratified to be applied henceforth.
Thank you, Charter President Bobby. Is there a second to the motion? Past President Arnold Naval of RC Grace Park is recognized.
Arnold Naval.
Past President Arnold. It looks like Past President Arnold is not available. Is there anyone who would like to second the motion?
Mr. Chair, I second the motion.
Thank you, Past President Irene. Are there any comments or objections? There being none, the resolution is hereby approved. And the chair hereby requests the district leadership team, especially the editorial staff of the governor's monthly letter, to publish all the resolutions adopted and approved at the training assembly, or for the district leadership to otherwise disseminate the same for the information and guidance of all the clubs in the district. Having said that, this concludes the business session of the District Training Assembly. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Past President Jose Vicente Juan Jimenez. Maraming salamat po. Bago po tayo mag-adjourn ngayong hapon, Nais lamang ng Rotary Club of Marikina West pasalamatan ang mga sumusunod na mga Rotarians na sumuporta at tumulong para sa DISTAS 2020. Past President Chuck Manansala from the Rotary Club of Marikina Hilltop. Past President Bobby Rosadia from the Rotary E-Club of Marikina. Past President Joel Guevara from the Rotary Club of Metro Pasig. Past President Luz Cotoco from the Rotary Club of Ortigas Center. Past President June Angeles from the Rotary Club of Marikina South. Maraming salamat po sa inyong assistance. Thank you. Now for the closing remarks, please welcome Champion President from the Rotary Club of Marikina West, President Rodrigo G. Bautista.
My dear Champion, Governor Nelson Aspe, Rotary International Director Rafi Garcia, District Governor-elect Tonipi Paruñgao, District Officers, Champion President classmates, Transforming Presidents, fellow Rotarians, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. With today's online district training assembly, we have shown that even in this new normal, there's a new beginning. Despite the untold hardships that we all face in the current pandemic, with innovativeness, resiliency, and determination, Rotary International District 3800 has proven that it can emerge stronger and more resolute in the service of its fellow human beings. We hope that you have enjoyed and are satisfied with today's important district event. We certainly hope that the many informative in this morning's forum will help you guide and steer your own clubs in achieving your plans and programs in the incoming Rotary Year. The Rotary Club of Marikina West are excited with the rest of the 100 clubs in the district in the realistic expectation of another banner year of RI District 3800 under the steady and able leadership of District Governor-elect Tonipi Paruñgao. We would like to thank all the participants for your attention, dedication, and passion. It cannot be truly said that even in this pandemic, that indeed Rotary opens opportunities. I would like to thank DISTAS Chair P.P. Pope Solis and all the other tireless members of the Golden West and their loving spouses for their time, dedication, and zeal in making this online DISTAS 2020 a rousing success. Mabuhay ang Rotary District 3800. Mabuhay ang Rotary. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat din, Champion President Rod Bautista. Nais ko lang pong tawagin sana ang ating District Governor-elect Tonipi Paruñgao at ang kanyang may bahay upang para sa presentasyon ng aming token mula sa Rotary Club ng Marikina West. Kasama po ang chairman ng DISTAS at ang kanyang may bahay na si Vicky, pati ng aming Pangulo, Champion President Rod Bautista.
Kami po ay lubos na nagpapasalamat sa ating District Governor-elect ng Transforming Team and in grateful appreciation of giving the trust and confidence to the Rotary Club of Marikina West to host this DISTAS ay ibinibigay po namin ang winning art piece na siya rin po ang naging cover ng ating souvenir program sa ating pinakamamahal na district governor at ang kanyang magandang may bahay, si spouse Lana.
Maraming salamat po, Vicky, at ang Rotary Club ng Marikina West.
Ito po ang certificate of authenticity ito pong painting na ito. And kung si Mr. Francis Kong ay hinandugan natin ng district gift na mga potteries galing sa Sagada at some clothing materials from our indigenous brothers from the north. The same is likewise given to our district governor-elect and spouse, Lana.
Thank you again. Meron din mga bagay sa Sagada na gusto ko.
Ito kung Sagada.
All right, before I adjourn, just like to thank everybody for being part of this historic, once-in-a-lifetime history in the making district training assembly of our district. As of yesterday, I think we've reached a total number of registrants as 1,200. And if you combine the people who joined in the webinar, as well as those who liked, around 800 to 900. So I am floored by the success of this online district training assembly. And as they always say, failure is an orphan, but success has many fathers. So on top of the resolution of thanks that was adopted a while ago during the business session, I would just like to also thank first and foremost Edgar and Len for their contributions in the technical, in the creative aspects. Fantastic work, guys. I also like to thank, of course, my wife Lana, without whom we could not have gotten Francis Kong to be part of this district training assembly. I'd like to thank, finally, of course, past President Pope Solis and spouse Vicky. You have come through, and this has been very, very wild, befitting the nature and moniker of your club, the Wild West. Congratulations to the Rotary Club of Marikina West. Now, before closing this, I'd just like to remind everybody that tonight we will be having the first day of our 2020 Rotary Virtual Convention. It is not too late to register. You can do it for free, and it will start at 9:00 p.m. Manila time. And this will be on for the next 4 or 5 days. Yun lang nga, yung mga breakout sessions, madaling araw, because it's American time. But nevertheless, this is another experience worth having. And if you have the time, if you're interested, please join us in this virtual convention. Next week, we will be having our virtual district conference on the 26th and on the 27th. Please join us there as well. It will be a fitting tribute and celebration of a record-breaking year for our champion presidents and district officers, led by Champion Governor Nelson Aspe. Let us all join in that virtual celebration. And finally, on the 30th, there will be a district awards night. And please don't forget, on January 4, we will be having July 4, sorry. We will be having our district handover. Can you please show the publicity material again, Edgar? The district handover will be shown on July 4. This will feature, of course, Governor Nelson and myself. This will just be around an hour, 10 minutes, and we will be putting up live stream, downscaled, but very interesting and memorable show for everybody to mark the start of the new Rotary Year. Now that we have connected the world, it's time for us to open opportunities. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Rotarians, in behalf of the district and in my capacity as incoming district governor, pursuant to the duties and responsibilities entrusted to me by Rotary International, I hereby adjourn this 2020 online district training assembly. Thank you.
caught me off guard. All of my friends said you moved out west. You tell me stories underneath sunsets. Could it be more than just one night? Kissing the cab ride, head turning left, right. Get a ticket for two to wherever you choose. Drinking some red out of the blue. You say my name with your accent, makes me remember how much I missed you. Hope you're planning to stay for a million days. You'll be my summer in December. Hey boy, trust my intuitions always. I'm not superstitious, I got lucky. Stole your heart and it was mine for the taking. I'm bad at pretending, you know I'll be true. Sunday mornings and midnight lights turn into songs that you watch me write. Stole your sweater on that